Hi, welcome to the Nog Vlog. My name is Lance, and we are here at Celebration Key. It's opening weekend. We are one of the first ships to arrive. We're going to give you a full walking tour of the entire port. Hopefully here in this full day that we have here to enjoy this private destination for Carnival, we'll be able to bring to you everything that this place has to offer. We're going to try as much food. We're going to try as many drinks as we can. We know there's a lot of questions out there about what can you do at Celebration Key, what is free, what has costs, what are those costs, and that's our goal today here in this video. We also have special access to the private adults-only Lokono Cove Beach Club, so we'll tour that as part of our complete tour of Celebration Key. Let's head down to the pier and get started. Thanks for coming to take a trip with us. When you first arrive on your ship, the pier might look like it's a long walk, but this whole time lapse in real time was just 3 minutes and 27 seconds. Before we head inside, I want to give a quick reference of where we are. Celebration Key is a private destination for Carnival Cruise Line located on Grand Bahama Island, which is the same Bahamian island where you'll find the city of Freeport. With as big as Celebration Key is, I want to bring up the map to show you the route we're going to take. We're going to head to the adult-friendly Calypso Lagoon side first, dipping down into the Pearl Cove Beach Club. We'll swing back down through the Lokono Cove shopping area, and then circle the Starfish Lagoon side with visits to the food hall and Starfish Beach, and we'll end at the giant Suncastle Racing Waterslides. And no need to remember this map because here at the Nog Vlog, just like our ship tours, we'll have a map on the screen showing exactly where you are as we traverse this port. Celebration Key does include free tram service taking you to and from your ship, but they'll also have trams that circle around the outsides of both sides of the port with different opportunities to hop on and off depending on where you're trying to go. Here in this entry area called Paradise Plaza is where you'll find the guest services and shore excursions hut. You might visit them for things like renting a beach-capable wheelchair, renting a new sail and sign card, or maybe upgrading a Celebration Key rental that you might have. Lots of pictures to be taken here at Paradise Plaza, of course, with the Celebration Key centerpiece, the Suncastle, straight ahead and to our north. But we're not going to go that direction right now. We're going to head to our left and check out Calypso Lagoon and Calypso Beach. Now, Carnival promotes Calypso Lagoon as the adult-friendly side of the port. Now, to be absolutely clear, that doesn't mean kids won't be in this area. Far west side of Calypso Lagoon and Beach is designated for 18 and up only. We'll talk more about the enforcement of that a little bit later on. But here in front of us, you'll see some restrooms. Each restroom hut has showers on one side and rentable lockers on the other. Now, when we were here on opening weekend, the lockers weren't available to rent just yet, but they are being promoted as having USB-A and USB-C charging ports inside, so be sure to bring your charging cables if you want to take advantage of that feature. As you can see, just south of us here is Calypso Beach. We'll get a little bit closer to Calypso Beach a little bit further down in the tour. As we head back towards Calypso Lagoon, you'll see one of the first of many water sports rental stations, as well as a cabana and daybed concierge. If you pre-booked one of the cabanas or a daybed, this is where you'll visit to check in, turn in your ticket that's delivered to your stateroom, and the staff will take you to your pre-assigned location. Here you see the tram stop that can take you to Pearl Cove Beach Club as well as other parts of Calypso Lagoon. Quick follow-up on the concierge kiosk. Now, that's not going to be the only one that's around the port. And as we go through this tour, we'll take a look at an example of every single type of rental that you can get pre-cruise via the excursions section of carnival.com. But as we approach Calypso Lagoon, you can take a look at all of these standard loungers here that are first come, first served. So even with multiple ships in port, you can find a place to put your stuff down, call home base, and even have some shade without dropping a dime. So we'll spin back around and take our first close-up look of the zero entry Calypso Lagoon. Again, slanted to being adult friendly doesn't necessarily mean you can't have your kids over in this particular area. And from here, you're just a short walk through the water to Sunshine Swings Bar. With over 40 swings on either side of the bar. This is going to be one of the more popular places for drinks and photo ops. We enjoyed a Dirty Shirley and a pineapple coconut daiquiri while we were here, but just keep in mind this place does get busy as the day goes on. Across the lagoon, you can see some of the over the lagoon cabanas and villas that are available to rent, but we'll actually go and take a more up-close look at the luxury daybed. Originally, these daybeds were only limited to 2 guests per reservation, but now they've upped that to 4, and it does include a pair of loungers and a table that can be used as a cooler as well. Next, we'll take a look at a standard lagoon cabana. I say lagoon cabana because you can also get these same type of cabanas on the beach. When booking these list a max capacity of 4 guests. Next to this, you can see an example of a large cabana, which serves a capacity of 6 guests, and as such comes with a little bit more space and amenities. Though once you're on the island, all of these reservations typically can have a couple of extra guests added for an additional cost. Now, because Celebration Key is so new and they are making tweaks here and there on things, I'm purposely avoiding putting costs associated with all of these rentals. In the description, I'll have a link to Carnival's website where you can see the real-time costs of all of these rental options, whether you have a cruise book that's coming here or not. So we're going to head and take a little bit closer look at Calypso Beach, and you can see this sign from this point further west is adults only, or at least it's supposed to be adults only. Just like the Serenity adult only treats on the Carnival ships, know that the port is really not going to police that. It's really on the honor system of the parents to ensure kids are staying out of areas where they're not supposed to be. Here on the Calypso Beach side, you will see the luxury day beds that you can rent are not up against the ocean. So your view from your day bed won't be the direct ocean line. You'll have all those loungers in front of you. With so much to cover here on this huge island, we haven't yet even talked about food. The building we're passing here is one of the 5 snack shacks that are located all across the port, and really because they just look like a bar, I don't think a lot of people know that they have food options here. Real quick, I do want to point out the tram that's going by here. In case you have a walker or any other device that you need to get around with you, you can take one of these accessible trams to get around the island. See this cute picture opportunity here right outside Mingo's Tropical Bar and Kitchen, which is one of the 3 full-service restaurants here at the port. Let's go ahead and dive deep into how the food works here at Celebration Key. So each guest can use their sail and sign card from the ship to enjoy one inclusive meal at what they call the fast casual eateries. It's going to be some of the food trucks like you see here, as well as elsewhere here in Calypso Lagoon and Starfish Lagoon, or at Captain Galley's Food Hall over in Starfish Lagoon, which is like a counter-style cafeteria venue. Now, if you want something more than those small eateries, you can choose to dine at one of the full-service restaurants like Mingo's Cafe, and each guest can use their sail and sign card for 25% off one of their entrees. Also, at the full-service restaurants, kids 11 and under can eat free as long as they're ordering from the kids menu. Mingo's is the largest of the 3 full-service restaurants, and it's not even close, and they go all out with the theming. You can see how cute it is in here. It's the only one with its own souvenir shop as well. And while we didn't have the opportunity to eat here, the food looked absolutely delicious and will definitely be our top food spot to visit on our next trip to Celebration Key. Don't forget they also have a bar with exclusive drinks as well. So while kids can eat here at Mingo's, right adjacent to the center of the restaurant is going to be an adults only venue, and that's going to be the Long Necks Swim Up Bar. This place definitely gets busy and lively towards the middle of the day. And like I said, at 18 up, kids shouldn't be in this area because this is where, again, the grown-ups are going to come to socialize, to dance, unwind, and party without having to worry about kids being around. As you can see, currently they have those hard plastic water loungers in that shallow shelf of the pool. On back order were actually some rentable water day beds to go in those spaces. So if you know this is the place that you want to hang out on your upcoming sailing and you wanted a confirmed dedicated space in this area, check your carnival.com excursion offerings to see if those are available to book. As we pivot around and look at the other side, you can see the sun sculpture backing the DJ booth there at DJ Island, playing a mix of Caribbean dance and party music all day long. And here to your left, this is the 18 up side of Calypso Lagoon. Again, pretty much self-enforced, but as such, this outer peninsula of cabanas in the Super Villa are also designated as 18 plus, so no kids are allowed in those rentals as well. Subsequently, all the inclusive loungers here on this side of Calypso Lagoon, as well as the day beds and cabanas over here, are all also designated as 18 plus. So you're probably starting to realize just how big this place is, and even after watching this awesome tour, you still might get lost when you're here for the first time. Don't fret, I do want to point out they've got great navigation signs that are color-coded based off what larger portal that destination is located within. So this darker pink will be Calypso Lagoon, the purplish blue will be Starfish Lagoon, teal will be Lokono Cove, yellow for Paradise Plaza, and anything with the light coral color will be Pearl Cove Beach Club, and that's where we're going to take a look at next. Now, Pearl Cove Beach Club is for those guests that don't mind paying up a little bit for that exclusive, luxurious Caribbean island vacation experience. Simply make your reservation pre-cruise in the excursion section of carnival.com. There'll be friendly staff to check you in, get you a color-coded wristband based off of the type of admission you purchase, and every guest will receive a included welcome rum punch. As we tour this area, I'll try to explain all the admission types and what the benefits are of each. But when you first walk in, you can either head straight down to the beach, or to your right, you can head over to the Pearl Cove restaurant and bar. So let's talk about cabanas and super villas here at Pearl Cove. Pearl Cove cabana amenities include all 4 guests of your cabana will have access to the open bar package, which is a wristband that allows you to get 10 drinks across all the bars here at Pearl Cove. The cabana comes with that small cooler that comes with unlimited ice, water, and soda. And last, each of the cabana guests gets a wristband for unlimited use of the Suncastle Waterslides that we'll see at the very end of our tour. Now, if you rented the Super Villa at Pearl Cove, you get all those same benefits for your 10 guests, plus you get included snacks and lunch delivery to your actual Super Villa. Another exclusive benefit to this beach compared to Calypso and Starfish beaches is bar service. Waiters will come out all the way to your loungers out here on the beach to take your drink orders and bring you those drinks. We did not see that on the Calypso or Starfish beaches during our time at Celebration Key. You can see the loungers here at Pearl Cove Beach are much more comfortable with the full padding and pillow, and you can see they also include towels towels, so you don't have to worry about bringing that if you're planning on spending your full day here at Pearl Cove. When we visit the actual Starfish beach, we'll go into more detail about the actual ocean water, the ocean floor, and all the things that you need to know and be prepared for if you plan on playing in the ocean. So probably the most popular amenity here at Pearl Cove is this infinity pool where you can stay cool in the water, enjoy your drink from the bar, enjoy those views of your private beach and of the Carnival ships docked here at Celebration Key. You'll see one thing about this pool, it is not zero entry. You do have to take a few stairs to get in. In fact, nowhere in Celebration Key's pools did we notice any accessible lifts to get in. So important to call out for any guests that have, expected and received that accommodation on the ships. You won't have that here at Celebration Key. At the time of filming, they were capping overall reservations for this area at 250 guests. Staff did explain to me they have plans for expansion as the needs warrant it. Now, if you rented one of the luxury day beds here at Pearl Cove, you can see they are tucked back here to this far side. And behind that fence line is where actually that expansion would be. Staff informed me they would be building more cabanas and villas there in the future. While not as loud as the DJ Island area over at Calypso Lagoon, Pearl Cove does have a DJ for those Caribbean beats. And now that we're at the bar, let's talk about that open bar package I mentioned. With that, you get a special wristband so the bartenders and servers know that you are eligible for up to 10 drinks from this inclusive drink menu showing on the screen here. And because it's a separate pre-purchase package, these 10 drinks will not count against any Cheers 15 drink limit that you would have on the ship. So if you used all 10, you wouldn't go back on the ship and only have 5 left in your Cheers package. For guests without that Pearl Cove open bar package, while you can't use your Cheers drink package on the island, if you're ordering the drinks on your sail and sign card, you'd have to pay for them, but they could still count against your 15 limit for the day. So be sure to use your credit card in those cases if you want to avoid that conflict. To be absolutely clear, drink ship packages cannot be used at Celebration Key. So that's enough about drinks. Let's talk about the food. Here at Pearl Cove Beach Club Restaurant, you can savor an elevated Caribbean cuisine and dining experience that you won't find anywhere else on Celebration Key. Now, this restaurant is an additional cost of just about every single access type to Pearl Cove, except one, and that's a Pearl Cove all-inclusive. So that includes the 10-drink open bar package as well as this inclusive menu, which when you look at it, it's the same as the standard menu we just saw, absent a few appetizers. And while I didn't eat there, the reviews from people on our sailing and from the first couple of weeks at Celebration Key were all off the charts, and it seemed like one of the big reasons why people said they would return here on a future visit. You can see there's one additional bar here for those servers to get those drinks for the beach service. Friendly reminder, there's a link in the description to Carnival's website showing all of these packages as excursions. That way you can assess Carnival's real-time costs for those packages, compare them to your budget, and make the best decision for you and your sailing guests. So we're back over at Calypso Lagoon. You see one of those snack shacks here in front of us. Across from that is a restroom hut. And behind that, if you look at the map, you'll see that designated smoking area. There's 5 total across Celebration Key, all on the outskirts behind the restroom huts. So keep your eye out on the map in case you're looking for those. Otherwise, there's no smoking anywhere else in Celebration Key. While Lokono Cove is the shopping area that we're going to see in just a little bit, they do have some local vendors spread out throughout the island in case you want to do some shopping away from that area. And next we'll encounter the Calypso food trucks. So each of these establishments have a menu that include an Island Eats option. So that's your one free complimentary meal if you use your sail and sign card. They also have complimentary ice and water stations on either side of these food trucks. The first truck that you'll see over here is Flippin' Fritters, which really needs no explanation. Didn't get to try these. I really wanted to try the conch fritters, but sadly there was some less than impressive reviews of this place, specifically that there was just too much breading and not enough meat or whatever component was inside. So not a first-hand account, but take that for what it is. Next up is Calypso Chicken Company. Here you'll find fried and grilled chicken sandwiches, chicken tenders, chicken salads. You can see for these and for seaside burgers and dogs, which we'll see next. You actually come up and put your order in via touch screen. You use your sail and sign card for your free meal or to be charged to your sail and sign account. Or if you prefer, you can use your credit card to pay for anything a la carte that you might be purchasing. So keep in mind, all the guests in your stateroom will have their Island Eats credit linked together. For example, if you've got 4 people staying in a cabin, one person can go and get all 4 food items using one sail and sign card. And real quick, the last food truck tucked in the corner here is Foul Play, which serves chicken wings, also loaded fries and loaded nachos available here. Take a look, we're on the north side of Calypso Lagoon. You can see Mingo's across the way. You can see all the loungers available up here, all the luxury day beds available up here as well. And we'll also find up here next the second of the 3 full service restaurants, Surf and Sauce, Barbecue, and Brews. Just by the nature of where it's located, it's probably going to be the least busiest restaurant. So if you're coming to Celebration Key and there's multiple ships in port and you're finding the stuff near the entrance too busy, I'd recommend maybe coming back here and giving something a try. In addition to the outdoor smoked meats and the array array of sauces and sides that this place has. You can find some craft beer from some local Bohemian breweries that you can't find anywhere else at Celebration Key. As we continue on our tour, we'll take a quick glance to the right. You'll see the pathway for guests that have cabanas or the Super Villa on the 18 plus outer Calypso Lagoon Peninsula. And just behind that is the Calypso North tram stop, conveniently taking you from the entrance to this location, as well as some more restrooms. At this point, we've crossed the imaginary, arbitrary, whatever you want to call it, 18 plus line for Calypso Lagoon. And here on this north side is where you'll find some of the sports amenities, including a half basketball court and a sand volleyball court. There's no cost to use these facilities. You don't need to bring any equipment. You can ask a staff member at one of the nearby kiosks for a ball if there's not one already at either of the courts. You can see more of the ample loungers that surround the north side of Calypso Lagoon. Specific locations for daybed and cabana rentals are all pre-assigned. When we're on the Starfish Lagoon side, I'll speak more to what we learned on how those reservations work and what your options and limitations are for moving around to a spot that you prefer. Here you see the pathway for the entrances to the Inner Peninsula cabanas in Super Villa, and next, adjacent to the lockers of this restroom hut we'll encounter next, is a Pharmabox vending machine. So mark that location down just in case you need something for a minor ailment you might get while here at Celebration Key. You'll find another snack shack up here serving this north side of Calypso Lagoon, and just behind that restroom hut you'll find a smoking section as well as the terminus of the Calypso tram line. So using the trams, this would be one of your two options if you wanted to get out to that port exit, which we'll see here in just a few minutes as we tour the Lokono Cove portal. We'll hurry on out of Calypso Lagoon here on the north side of the port. You can see the Sunshine Swings Bar off in the distance. So now we are in Lokono Cove. This is that retail shopping area for Celebration Key. It's a good blend of common stores that you see in many Caribbean ports, as well as a selection of local goods here at the straw market that takes up this backside. Even if you're likely not to buy anything from this area, I definitely recommend walking through it just to get appreciation of the artisan goods that they have to offer and take in a little bit of that Bohemian culture. And on that same note, be sure to take in and maybe even pose in front of for a picture the large murals that are painted by local Bohemian artists here in Lokono Cove. So here in the very back of Lokono Cove is where you'll actually find the port exit. So in case you didn't know, you don't have to stay here at Celebration Key during your port stop. You can go explore Grand Bahama Island further. So you might do this through a Carnival sponsored land excursion or on your own, just taking a local taxi or even a rental car. Those are all available through that port exit. Although Lokono Cove shopping is duty free, there's a liquor, tobacco, and jewelry store on the opposite side here. Now, while you have the option to use your Sail and Sign card to charge food and drinks to your shipboard account from all the other venues around the port, all of these shops here in Lokono Cove do not accept Sail and Sign card, nor do they take cash. So you have to have some type of way to pay via credit or debit. We were able to use Tap to Pay in all three stores that we shopped in. Some of the artisan vendors from the straw market might accept cash, but otherwise, if you plan to shop in Lokono Cove, have some type of way to pay via credit, debit, or Tap to Pay. Technically part of Lokono Cove and hidden behind the Suncastle here is Suncastle Grounds Coffee. You get hot, iced, or frozen coffee drinks, as well as a few treats and snacks. While you're in this stretch from the Lokono Cove exit all the way to the Paradise Plaza entrance, keep your ear open for the Junkanoo Rush Parade. Definitely an awesome vibe and experience, and you can even tell the workers and other sides of the park started dancing and moving around once they heard that parade going. It really is a deep part of their culture and a great added bonus to experience here at Celebration Key. We'll peek into one last shop here called Bliss. If you want to make sure that you don't miss that Junkanoo Rush Parade, you can find the time that it's going to run on your ship's visit to Celebration Key in the fun times that you get delivered to your stateroom the night before your arrival to the port. The fun times will also list when all of the restaurants will open and close here on Celebration Key, because they will vary based off the time your ship and other ships are in port. As the day gets hotter at Celebration Key, you can make your way over to Yum Shine Scoops here at Paradise Plaza. Treat yourself to some ice cream, either a cup or a cone, or even an $18 real beach pail sandcastle sundae. Couldn't bring myself to order that, but maybe next time. So now we can officially say we've entered Starfish Lagoon, and this is where you'll find Guppy Grotto right near the entrance. Definitely catered more towards the tiny cruisers, but anybody can enjoy this splash area. Kids are supposed to be supervised, but no worries. Right behind it, you can find Lagoon Bar East. Both in the splash area as well as the lagoon, unlike on the cruise ships, your littlest of kids are allowed to wear swim diapers. So we're kind of close back where we first started. You can see there's a few people that want to bypass the walk and take that next convenient tram back to the ship. So Starfish Lagoon is going to be that more family-friendly portal. But don't let that discourage you grown-up sailing with kids. You're still going to find a lot of great amenities up here to have yourself a blast, all still while your kids can have some fun right nearby. And speaking of having fun, if you're having fun watching this video, if you're finding it informative, if you're getting value out of it, do us a solid and smash that like button. It lets YouTube know how great you think this video is, and it will spread it to more and more people. With that one simple click, you can help support us in our efforts to make more and more ship tours, destination videos, and cruise vlogs. Thanks so much. Back to the tour. And next up is Captain Galley's Food Hall. Now, this is not a buffet. There are no buffets here at Celebration Key. This is going to be more of a cafeteria style food venue. There's a total of 4 different cuisine options here. Similar to the food trucks, the venues here all include the Island Eats option, but also have a more expanded menu with a la carte pricing. So the 4 food options you'll find here are burgers and more, tacos, burritos, and bowls, Mediterranean flavors, and pizzas. The Mexican food as well as the Mediterranean food originally were not part of the Island Eats program, but after about a week of operations, they realized they needed to include those, so they incorporated a few of the items from each of those menus into the Island Eats options. For your drink, you can grab one of the white paper cups and get complimentary ice and water, or you can pay for a different color cup for the designated soda station. Also, for additional costs, you can grab at the checkout station a bottle of water, an energy drink can, or an alcoholic beverage can. As far as seating, the tables here are all in the sand, so if you have accessibility issues, this venue doesn't really work well for you. Nonetheless, it shouldn't be too hard to grab a table. It's kind of crowded over here. If not, you could take the food back to maybe wherever your loungers are. You see they did have a bar here on the far side of the food hall in case you didn't want to have to go down into the water. I say that because we'll actually go up to the Starfish Lagoon here and take a peek over at the Parrotfish swim up bar. So even this family friendly side does have that fun swim up bar with seating in the water. One thing all the bars here on the Starfish Lagoon side have is a section of mocktails and zero proof frozen drinks. So that's cool since there's going to be tons of kids here in this side, and that way the grown-ups and kids alike can enjoy all the experiences here on this side of Celebration Key. Even though they're not indicated on the map provided to guests, you can see there are restrooms here in the back of Captain Galley's Food Hall. Just south of the food hall, we'll have ability to cross the road here and check out Starfish Beach. I know we've only gazed at the beach from a few points over on the Calypso side and Pearl Cove Beach Club side. We'll use this time here at Starfish Beach to talk a little bit more about that beach experience here at Celebration Key, because there's a few things you're going to need to know. First is the water sport rentals. You can see there's one here for the beach. You saw we already passed several of those up near the lagoons. For the ocean, you can rent a single or double kayak, you can get a paddleboard, or you can rent snorkel gear. Back at the lagoon, you can rent a pool noodle or a tube. For the lagoon, you are not allowed to bring your own flotation devices. Some people might have gotten away with that early, but it is against the rules. You can bring and use your own flotation devices out in the ocean. Just know you have to have a way to inflate them. Any guest can get a complimentary life jacket if needed. If you plan to use the beach, the one thing you do want to bring is water shoes. While the beach sand itself is mostly soft and powdery, you will find some broken up shells and coral pieces within it, but more importantly, you're going to need those water shoes for going into the actual ocean. And there is coral in the water that can make some entry spots a little or even a lot rocky. My advice would be to be as strategic as you can in deciding where you want to set up if you're looking to enjoy the beach and the ocean here at Celebration Key, but a beach day might be better reserved for one of your other port stops, since the lagoons here at Celebration Key are the stars of the show. While we're on the topic of limitations or restrictions by the lifeguards, as far as the ocean is concerned, you're not allowed to swim under the piers. There's the pier that we walked on from the ship. There's also a smaller pier for any guests leaving on ocean-based excursions. So if you do plan to try to snorkel here at Celebration Key, just make sure you stay away from those. As we continue our path around the outside of Starfish Lagoon, you see they have a volleyball court of their own on this side of the port. And right in front of us, we'll take a close look at one of the beach access wheelchairs. They're free to rent, and it seems like they have a ton of them, but they are on a first come, first served basis. We'll go ahead and cut through the east part of Starfish Lagoon here and go check out the unique aqua banas. With a capacity of up to 8 guests, these inflatable cabanas give your party a floating home base, so to speak, and they're only available here at Starfish Lagoon. While you do get the same concierge service like other cabanas, you don't get included water slide passes with these aquabanas, so just keep that in mind. Drink service for the aquabanas is super quick because that service comes right next door from Shoalmates Island Bar. But no, you don't have to be an aquabana guest in case you are in a lounger nearby and want to come over here to enjoy a beverage from Shoalmates. You might be wondering, why is it so empty over here? It was closer to the end of our port time and we were just one ship in port, but from reports from other guests, even when there's multiple ships in port, this area is probably the quietest across all of the lagoons. Here you see the shaded sports and games pavilion with a pair of ping pong tables. They've got a sub soccer table. Behind the pavilion you've got cornhole. You already saw the sand volleyball court earlier, and here you've got a half basketball court as well. Next up, you'll see a restroom for this corner of the park. There is a smoking section in the back. Back here in this corner are the Starfish food trucks, and again, because this area isn't quite as popular as the Calypso Lagoon side, these food trucks back here can sometimes feel a little bit left out, which is a shame because they have some really tasty options over here. Of course, on either side you have the complimentary ice and water station. And while water is all that you can get currently, I feel like there's space here that they might expand and have tea and lemonade, and maybe also sail and sign cards, scanning soda dispensers just like they have on the ships. Don't hold me to that, but that might be something that's included here in the future. One thing I wish they did have over here when we were here was a little bit more shade. When I came over after filming right before they were about to close down, they did have some team members working on putting in some more supports for what looked like would be more shade canopies. But back to the food options here, pound for pound, one of the best things you can get across the entire port is Mini Donut King. These donuts are made fresh, so be prepared that they're going to come out hot, but they were tasty, they were sweet, they hit the spot, and if you're doing the island eats, you get a snow cone to boot. Next up, you have Seaside Shack subs and tenders. That is hard to say. Looks like their specialty is a Philly cheesesteak. Next up is Grand Bahama Taco Company. This is where I used my island eats. I got me a pair of fish tacos, and they were absolutely delicious. The fish was fresh, the batter was light yet crispy, slaw was flavorful, and the sauce had a perfect amount of spice. It was on point. I'm sad to report that Strudri Sushiva was not open while we were there, and I've heard reports that it has yet to open. Hopefully that has opened now because the menu does look enticing. So you may have noticed to our right on the other side of the road, mounds and mounds of dirt. Well, all that dirt is the beginning of phase 2 of Celebration Key, which includes an extension of the pier to accommodate up to 4 ships, as well as a massive expansion of the actual port. Rumors are it's going to be a water park, but otherwise details are under wraps as of now. One more of the designated smoking areas behind one more of the restroom huts. And if you are a pickleballer and been wondering if you have accommodations here for you, you are in luck. Here on the Starfish Lagoon north side, you can find that pickleball court. Just beyond that, we'll find that third and final full service restaurant. It's called Gill's Grill, and props to whoever came up with that name because the menu specializes in seafood fare. Now, I made sure to ask staff all across the port which of the restaurants were the best. This restaurant was actually answered the most, and I think that's a shame because just like the food trucks up in the corner, I think its location is going to cause it to get underutilized. If you have one of the Starfish Lagoon Outer Peninsula cabanas or super villa, this will be your concierge booth to check in. And the next area we'll encounter is actually not on the map as well, so a lot of people don't know it's over here. You'll see a fun little musical playground, as well as this awesome Celebration Key logo sand sculpture. So all you grown-ups that want to hang out at Calypso Lagoon or Pearl Cove Beach Club, if you want this cool photo op in front of this, make sure you still head over to Starfish Lagoon at some point in your visit to Celebration Key. So up next, we'll pass the Inner Peninsula for the Over the Lagoon cabanas and Super Villa. We rented one of the Over the Lagoon cabanas here on this peninsula at Starfish Lagoon. So if you're debating on booking an Over the Lagoon cabana or any cabana in general, check out our cabana video so you can see everything that you can expect when you rent a cabana, all the perks, any downsides, and if we would spring for it again on a future visit to Celebration Key. So here you can see the terminus of the Starfish tram line. If you're hurrying off the ship and looking to get to the port exit as quick as you can to catch some type of excursion or something outside of Celebration Key, I would recommend the Starfish tram line. Just based on the volume of where people are going, you're going to have less people using the Starfish tram line than the Calypso tram line. Take one last look over at Starfish Lagoon, pointing out some of the rental options. Most of both lagoons are pretty shallow at 2.5 feet of depth, but know that near the end of each of the peninsulas where the Over the Lagoon super villas are, it does get much deeper to about 5 feet of depth. So we finally reached our last point of interest, and technically it's the largest point of interest since it's the tallest structure in the port and you can see it from far away as your cruise ship is pulling in, and that's going to be the Suncastle Racing Slides. Fitting for the park, you've got the pink Flash Flamingo and you've got the blue Mach 3 Marlin. The positives, both of these are pretty fun. They're way more intense than just about any of the slides on most of Carnival cruise ships. All three of us tried out both. All three of us went with Pink Flamingo as the favorite of the two. The downside, you do have to pay for use of these. Just like an excursion, you have to book it before you're sailing. If you've got kids that are the age that would enjoy these water slides, head over to your cruise planner on carnival.com and get these in your cart and on your reservation as quick as possible. Like some of the other facets we've discussed here in this tour of Celebration Key, Carnival is assessing supply and demand and adjusting things appropriately. Day of, you can always check at the Shore Excursions hut in Paradise Plaza to see if there's any availability left for the slides. If you have any questions questions about Celebration Key, let us know in the comments below. If you're interested in visiting this port but not yet booked a cruise, might I suggest the one that shares the namesake with Celebration Key? That of course is the Carnival Celebration, and you can watch the full Noglog in-depth ship tour of the Carnival Celebration with this video here. Thanks for coming to take a trip with us.